Good morning, Laura. How you going? At the moment, it's just you and me, and I've arrived at this point on Long Reef Headland. You can see that. You're going to have your fingers crossed for me that we don't have rain. Look at that. There's no indication on the weather forecast, but it doesn't feel very positive, does it? So for the next hour, for the next 45 minutes, no rain, please. It's very dark out there, isn't it? Look at it. Good morning, Betsy and Louise. Thanks for joining me. So we've got about 6 minutes before start time. I'll start slowly walking towards where I intend to start from. How are your days going? Good morning, Joanne. So it's Tuesday morning here in Sydney. Tuesday morning, just coming up to 10 o'clock in the morning. What is it? I think it's the 28th of June, which makes it almost at the end of our first month of winter. And up until now, it's actually been quite lovely. But we've really had a chilly start to the day today. Hi, Mum. Hi, Mum and Dad have just joined. Hi, Betsy. Hi, Mari. So looking out to sea there, that's where we're headed. You can just see the break. The waves breaking over there. We're going to head in that direction. Currently walking alongside Long Reef Golf Course, which is what forms the majority of the headland. Hi, Pam and Eli. Eli the cat in Phoenix, Arizona. Good morning. So what are we looking at in Phoenix, Arizona? Is it about 3 in the afternoon for you guys? This section of the track runs alongside a busy main road, so I'm just heading to a point where we'll be starting a little bit away from that. Around here there's an active, so just looking, 5 p.m. Okay. Oh, did you hear that whip bird just now? Hopefully he'll do it again. So around here there's a very active land care group, and what we're seeing right here is where they've been digging up lantana, which is a bit of a menace in our bushland. I'm trying to identify what those small... That was a whip bird. Did you hear it that time? So it's 11 degrees here at the moment, which I know for a lot of you is not very cold. But for us Sydney-siders, that's a very chilly morning. Morning, Pat. And we're heading, I think, to 16. I'm sorry, I can't tell you what that is in Fahrenheit. I know that 20 is around about 68, if that helps. Hi, Penny. How are you going this morning? Feel free to pop into the chat where you're all from, for those who don't have it obvious in your screen title. So we're just about to hit the start of a boardwalk here. I'll move away from these people. Morning, Kate. And here we start to get the first glimpse of the beaches. I just felt the wind pick up. I've done a bit of a MacGyver hack on my phone. Morning, Sybil. And hopefully you might still hear the wind, but you won't hear that horrible crackling across the microphones that we usually get when wind affects these types of devices. So fingers crossed. Let me know if there's a problem. But yesterday we had a very windy tour, and the feedback I got was that everything went well. So we're just about to hit the start time, so I'll turn the camera around. So, hi everyone, my name's Lynn. 10 seconds to go. I think we can ignore that, yeah. So, we're standing today at a headland which is between DY Beach and Coleroy Beach. And before we begin, I'd just like to acknowledge that we're meeting today on the lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and pay respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Alrighty, so as I said, my name's Lynn. I normally do tours in the Blue Mountains, but circumstances have brought me down to the Northern Beaches, which has been a bit of a treat to be able to bring you some of the beautiful locations, including this one, which is Long Reef Headland. So let's turn around and now start our walk. I'm not getting my zoom buttons. I don't know why that is. So there must be a glitch this morning, which is a bit of a shame. I was going to zoom in on DY Beach and show it to you, but my zoom buttons are not displaying this morning. Luckily for most of this tour, that wasn't necessary in any case. All right, so this boardwalk is fairly new. It's a great addition to allow walkers to really enjoy getting out and walking around Long Reef Headland. The headland is an island originally from I believe it's the Jurassic period, and it's joined to the mainland by a sand spit. Got a puppy coming towards us. He looks like he's very keen to make friends. So as you can see, it's a very popular walk. This is a bit of an oddity. I think some little girls have gotten in there and made a cubby house at some point. There's all sorts of funny little trinkets down there. So what's happening over to the right is that Long Reef Surf Club is undergoing some redevelopment and reconstruction. So they're going to have a nice new surf club building here once this is completed. I'm just showing you that out of curiosity more than anything. You can actually see just beyond the construction site, there's a path over to the beach between the vegetation. So that's one of the access points to Long Reef Beach. Hi Sybil, hi Mindy, and who's that just joined? Oh, good morning, Oh. I once read a story about Oh. Very controversial book in the 70s. Good morning, Yvette. Can everyone hear me okay? Give me some thumbs up. Let me know that you're hearing me fine. Perfect. Thanks, Louise. Thanks, Yvette. Thanks, Sybil. And I'm feeling spots, teeny tiny spots of rain. Please hold off. Please hold off, rain. Thanks, Pam. So we're walking into an area now which is a bit of a bird sanctuary, and there's lots of bird life around this area, as I mentioned earlier. Right here, either side of the track, are two enormous banksia trees. I'll get up close and show you what they are. These are uniquely Australian. And right beside me, I have a wattle just coming into flower. You can see the tiny little flowers just starting to emerge on the edge of the stems. Not in flower yet. We did see some yesterday that were in flower, but this one isn't. So, one of the many varieties of banksia. This is what a young flower looks like. And then as the flower matures, it opens up more fully. The birds absolutely love it. It's a real honey producer. And then as it ages, it becomes the seed pod, and that's the seed pod up there. And what's unique about banksias and a lot of Australian flora is that it requires fire to germinate. Okay, I'm actually getting drops of rain. I hope it doesn't get any heavier. I would have to abandon the tour if it does, because I don't have any protection from my gimbal. So fingers crossed, everybody. Spots of rain on my glasses right now. I do have a plastic bag in my bag. That may help. Let's see. Might have to use it. So we were talking about Long Reef, how it's connected to the mainland. So basically the golf course is located on the sand spit that connects the original island to the mainland. That sand spit, of course, is called variously an isthmus, a very fun word to say. But it's also called a trombolo, which is a term I hadn't ever heard of before I started to do more research for my tour here. There's a bit of a country lane kind of postcard. Hands up if you're new to Hago. Okay, I'm not seeing any hands, so you obviously know your way around the screen. Of course, you all know that there's a map on the left-hand corner that you can open out to see where I'm located if you need to. And in the middle of the screen down the bottom is a big button for taking photos, postcards, if you'd like to have a memento of Long Reef Headland. And we're just starting to get the sound of the surf coming in. Hi, Joy. Hi, Betsy. Hi. Is it Miwa? I know that golf courses are supposed to have bunkers with sand. They're also supposed to have lakes, but I don't think this is intentional. I think this is a hangover from all the rain that we've had earlier in the year. I don't think that's meant to be a dried up lake. Could be wrong. So the point of the headland itself is the island, as we've already mentioned. What's also unique about it is that this whole local area, the Sydney Basin, is largely sandstone. Many of the buildings in the centre of Sydney are constructed from the beautiful golden sandstone, Hawkesbury sandstone. But the island is completely different. Hi, DT. Hi, Dawn. So the island is formed from, I believe they're volcanic rocks mainly, and they're very unusual colour, completely different to the rest of the area. And we'll see when we get down to the beach and to the headland itself. They're very dark red and bright orange striations across the headland that make it unique to the rest of the area. So this is not what I would call a surf out here today. It's a very choppy, bit of a washing machine. And if you've just joined, I was telling everyone a little earlier, unfortunately I don't have my Zoom buttons on display this morning for whatever reason, so I can't actually zoom in on anything. But what we're looking at over in the distance there is DY Headland. And what's currently out of view because of the sea mist is North Head, which is the entrance to Sydney Harbour. And we were there on a tour yesterday. Oh, just missed a little willy wagtail, nearly stood on him. I don't have a zoom button, of course, but I might be able to he might let me get a little bit closer. Ah, there he is, down on the path. And you can see why he's called a willy wagtail. There we go. And they have a lovely song. If you have access to my description for the tour, you might have noticed that I posted a link. Unfortunately, you can't actually tap on the link and navigate straight there. You'd have to copy and paste it. But it's a link to this unique site on a bird website. And if you wanted to hop over there, it actually lists something like 103 or so different species of birds that have been sighted in this area and recorded. And if you want to go further, you can actually go into each entry, see what the bird looks like, and hear its call. So it's a very cool website if you're interested in birds. Okay, let's look at the beach while we walk. Let's look at the surf. We're going to do this while I'm putting the plastic bag over my gimbal because I'm starting to get more water than I would like on the gimbal. So bear with me. I might shake a little while I'm doing this. All right, so that's done. I've got my gimbal protected, which is good. They're so very sensitive that anything that you do can get it to do unpredictable things. All right, so there's a shot with the walkway in view, the surf behind it, and we're just starting to see the headland come into view around the corner as well. Let's hop out here first of all. We have another Dawn. Good morning, Dawn, and good morning, Mel. This is a very wild sea today. It looks like a bit of a washing machine. Let's have a look. No surfers out today. Now I'm going to do a quick pan around. You can just very slightly make out the different colours I was talking about on that first little outcrop, the reds and the oranges. I will walk down there and have a closer look. Yes, well spotted. Kate, there's a rainbow there. Let's see if we can get that in view. And on the temperature, when I got out of the car about half an hour ago, was 11 degrees Celsius. It's a bit nippy for a Sydney sider. Good morning, Carla. Northern Ireland, good morning, Mel. And thank you for staying up so late for me. I do appreciate it. Yeah, look at that surf this morning. It's wild. And hi, Shirley. Good morning. All right, so let's go down onto this beach and have a closer look at the coloured rocks I was talking about. Do you want one last shot of the rainbow from this angle? Yeah. I need windscreen wipers on my glasses. Let me show you. Okay, let's go down onto the beach. The sun's trying to poke through, weirdly, so we've actually got a bit of a sun shower happening, which explains the rainbow. It's lovely when the sun comes out. Here's an interesting shot. And the stream feeds out into the sea at this point. There must be something in the water, something dark. and the water flowing out to sea. 103. My goodness, what is that in Celsius? Does anybody know? Sounds like high 30s at least to me. Right. So we're just going to go down onto the beach. Please stop raining. My gimbal's protected, but my phone isn't. Hey, so there's a shot with the headland in the distance, and these really weird dark rocks. Dark red they are. They look black from here at the moment, I know, but they're actually really sort of a burgundy colour. 39, yeah, okay. I don't like this rain. Don't like this rain. Sorry, I know that you guys in England and Ireland and places like that deal with much more rain than I do, but this is my first time trying to do a tour without an umbrella in the rain. And gosh, I'm a wimp, aren't I? There's that outcrop that shows the orange and the red striped rocks. The tide's fairly full at the moment. I can't get around the rocks any further than this, and I'm going to get my feet wet. Ah, no, no. Okay, well that's going to make the rest of the tour less comfortable. All right, who's just joined? Marissa and Sandra, good morning. And gosh, we can hardly see DY Beach now because of that rain cloud closing in. Okay. All you Californians, my brother's in California. He's in Sonoma, and he grows wine. And that's all I'm going to tell you about his location. I'm sure he doesn't want a whole bunch of Southern Californians suddenly knocking on his door. He was in an area that was severely affected by wildfires a couple of years ago. Okay, so at this point here, you're going to hear a little bit of puffing. This hill might not look steep, but it sure feels it. Here we go. We'll give you a shot along the beach. Did I say hi, Melinda? And hi, Lois. Good morning. Here we go. It's a bit of a wild day at Long Reef Headland today. And I might not always stop for postcards, but I'm not going real fast. You should still be able to grab them as I go. What I do need is I need a couple of you to stand behind me and push me up this hill. So if I can get some volunteers for that. And one off maybe to the side to hold my hand. What I'm going to do is talk less so that I'm gasping less. All right. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Carla. I knew I could rely on you. Okay, let's get up this hill. It'll take me about 5 minutes, I think, to get up there, but it's worth it. There's a point just up ahead where we'll have another look back down on the beach. One good thing though, all this exercise is warming me up. Okay, let's have a look from here. Hi, Michelle. I think I saw you yesterday, Michelle, at North Head. Is that right? I'm just catching my breath. I don't know about you, but I like the sea in all conditions. It's lovely just looking out on the sea, isn't it? I'm just waiting for this person to walk past with his puppy. Hello, pup. There we go. We'll follow them. And here we are looking to the east. So, of course, this is the Pacific Ocean. That's one thing we share with you Californians. It's the same body of water from me to you. Up, up, up we go. So hands up if it's your first tour with me. I know I recognise some of your names. Oh, Yvette, welcome. Well, thank you. And Shirley and Mary, lovely to have you along. Oh, this helicopter's making a lot of noise. I've got a few newcomers today. So very glad to have you. I'd zoom in and have a look at him, but my zoom buttons aren't working today. And Jeannie, thank you. So many of you. I'm so very happy to have you. Look at this. This is a bunch of cockatoos on the golf course. And as I said, I can't zoom in, but right next to the cockatoos, that's a masked lapwing. You might be able to take a postcard and zoom in on it yourself. They can be very aggressive. They lay their eggs on the ground and out in the open. I've even heard of people saying, they're laying eggs on my driveway. So cockatoos, obviously finding something worth nibbling on in the grass there on the golf course. And perhaps you can all post tips in the chat on how to make sure my iPhone 7 is going to be fine after getting a few drops of rain on it. Oh, this is a pretty sight. So here's the rock platform down here. Basically what we have here, got a low battery SIG, message. Let me just plug in my power to the gimbal. Okay, there we go. So there's the rock platform, and this whole area is a marine national park. So any fossicking, fishing, anything around this area is against the law, prohibited. You can't even forage empty shells because it could be habitat for small creatures. I've got the Ziploc bag around my gimbal at the moment, Christine. Maybe I need a much bigger one, but how's the camera work in a Ziploc bag? Have you been on tours where the guides are using that as a protective measure? I've got my microphone protected, which is great. I found a fluffy onesie for 50 cents in an op shop the other day, cut the hood off and wrapped it around my phone with a couple of rubber bands, and it's working a treat. Morning, Rhonda. I should get the photo, pop it into the chat. Okay, yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind for future situations. It's actually not too much rain. It's really just sprinkling a little bit. So there's the rock platform. And again, you can see the coloured striations of the headland, the dark red rock. I'm standing, I don't know if my phone's going to allow me to do this. Mum's back home, Rhonda. Mum's actually on the tour right now, so you can all say hello to Mum and Dad watching my tour from home. Christine, my phone is an old iPhone 7, so it might be, but I wouldn't like to hang its reputation on it. And there's DY Beach. Mum's doing well. She'll be fine. She's determined to get well, and she's committed to some light exercise, and they will be absolutely fine. Won't you, Mum? And I'm going to do one last tour down in this area tomorrow at Manly before heading home to the Blue Mountains. All right, here we are, top of the hill. Look at this. I have a beautiful shot ready for you of this sculpture as a silhouette. So the sculpture represents the whale migration. And let me see, is it better to have it up like that? I'll give you a few opportunities. We've got that like that there. And I can also do this. Get down nice and low. Like that, on my creaky knees. There we go. Yeah, so this represents the whale migration. And I'll get over here to the information plaque and tell you a little bit more about it. Hi, Lorraine. Thanks, Bonita. I do appreciate it. That's lovely. Thank you. All right. I'm not going to point the camera at the plaque because it's a bit old and rusty and hard to read. I'll just read it to you. Okay. So it's called The Spirit of Long Reef Headland. It's been here since 1998. This is hard to do, sorry. It says, on a quiet, beautiful night, you can hear the Long Reef spirits singing in the ocean breeze. They use their beautiful voices to entice the migrating humpback whales close to the shore. It says more than that, but that gives you the idea of what the sculpture is intended to represent. And that tapping you can hear is the rain on the plastic bag. So I'm not going to hang around here for too long. Just show you, let's get up here and show you what the rest of the sculpture looks like. And of course there's painted tiles surrounding it as well. Okay. Not liking this rain. I might have to cut the tour short, guys, but I'll go for as long as I can. So we're looking out on the rock platform here. So you can walk down to it, obviously at lower tide. It's not safe to go down there at the moment. But the other day, there were a couple of photographers sitting down there near that gate, and they were excitedly pointing to something behind me. And what they were pointing at was an osprey. Look at that, just this one glowing spot on the ocean. Normally from here, you can see the headlands all the way up, one after the other, all the way up to the central coast. But they're all being hidden by the mist today. All right, so we're going to keep going. As I said, I'm getting a little bit wet and I'm not really comfortable about my phone. This obelisk here is a trig point, so obviously where cartography is measured from. Okay, and I'm just going to stop and look at your comments in a moment. We've got a few magpies hanging around here. Benita, you do. I visited Fort Myers a few years ago and spent a day with an online friend, someone who I hadn't met before, who I'd had lots of conversations with online. And her husband took me out and took the family out in a little boat out around, is it Sanibel? I think, somewhere around there, where, what's that song? Hamburger, something about hamburger. And we saw an osprey nest, and we also saw manatees. Hi, Paul. There was a restaurant there, the famous songwriter, and I can't even think of the name of the song, but had dollar notes all over the inside walls. That's it, Carla. Thank you. Yes, that's the one. Cheeseburger in Paradise. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that's about, Jules. I haven't seen anything that's been disrespectful so far, but any user at any time, if you're not aware, you can always mute or report a comment in the chat if you don't feel it's appropriate. Jimmy Buffett, yes, thank you, Dawn. That's exactly it. So the group that I was in Florida with, we all actually went there for dinner one night. It was a different day to the day I went out on the boat with my friend Lauren and her husband Eric, who lived in Fort Myers. All right, let's have a look out here. A lot more paths and a lot less views today, folks. I'm sorry about the... If you feel like you're missing out on anything, just because of the weather. Look at that beautiful sunshine on the water out there, the shimmering light. Hi, Sarah. Lois, it is raining a little bit. It's kind of sprinkling. I have my gimbal protected. I need windscreen wipers for my glasses. So if I'm not reading all the comments, it's because I have to stop and peer through my glasses, through the raindrops. But it's invigorating. It's lovely to be out here. Actually, the mist has cleared over this way a little bit now, so we can actually see Manly over there in the distance, which I would get you closer to if my zoom buttons were working, which they aren't. But there's a big white building you might be able to see on the horizon over there, and that's an indication of where Manly is, kind of. And that's DY Beach that we couldn't see quite so well a little earlier. And here's the golf course. Looking up the hill, towards Colorado Plateau. Colorado Plateau's over to the right, and we're going to head down to Fisherman's Beach now. So we just have a little bit of a path to walk along to get to Fisherman's Beach. The blue is, yes, it's starting to open up a little bit, which is lovely. Maybe I should have started my tour an hour later. Good morning, Kat. I'll try and get you another beach shot before we finish. The tour started about 40 minutes ago. So, and Sonia. Okay. So we're just going to get to another spot down here where we get to see a different beach and a different view to the north. Doesn't stop the golfers. The golfers are out. But the surf is not offering anything up for board riders today. The other day when I was here, the day that I was actually testing the signal and scoping the walk, there was a foil surfer. Does anyone not know what a foil surfer is? So we can look up to the north. Sybil. So a foil surfer, it's a small board that sits on it actually sits above the water, and it has kind of a high fin attached to it. You may have seen videos put out by Red Bull from time to time, and they look like they kind of use their body and momentum in conjunction with the swell of the waves to get a ride. Beneath the surface of the water is kind of a fin like you would have on an ocean-going sailing yacht, the kind that would have been used in the America's Cup, for example. Oh, I see one lonely board rider trying to get on that wave there. So they get towed out past the break by jet ski. They get actually put onto a swell, and then the rest, I mean, they can ride in for quite a long way. What we're looking at here is Coleroy Beach. So there's a tall tower block over there, and to its left is the Coleroy Surf Club. And what's called an ex-services club, which is ex-services clubs in Australia or in New South Wales were set up for returned soldiers. So it's the Returned Services League, RSL, set up clubs. And now this one here has an amazing beach view. It's got a great restaurant. It's actually a lovely spot to go. Okay, let's move on. It has briefly stopped raining. I'm very happy about that. That's great news. I can hear rainbow lorikeets. Problems with rainbow lorikeets is you can normally hear them in huge numbers and they hide really, really well, so you never get to see them. But they'd be lurking somewhere in these banksias here. They're really bright green, red and blue, and they're very noisy. So did you notice how protected and how smooth the surf and the swell was just here compared to earlier on in the tour? So that's a very protected beach, Coleroy Beach. And even when everything else is a mess, sometimes the surfers can get lucky and actually get a ride at Coleroy simply because of the way, the terrain, the geography of the area. So I can still hear, we'll just poke our nose in over the golf course here, where we can have another look back at the surf on the south side of the headland. I can still hear the surf over this side. In between a couple of skips. All right, so I don't know if we can see between the trees, but you can actually hear the surf from over there. Let's get into a better spot. Gee, I wish my zoom buttons were working. There we go. That's better. Well, thank you, Carla. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah. Once you've gotten used to those zoom buttons, you really miss them when you don't have them. Let me go. There's a magpie sitting on the wood heap here. I bet he's looking, because this is freshly dug ground where it looks like they're digging up some old trees. I'll bet he's looking for beetles and worms and things. Getting a bit of a feed in there. All right, so we'll get down to Fisherman's Beach and then I will bid you farewell. Well, thank you, Yvette. It's very kind of you. Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a magpie heading towards me on the path. Good morning. What can I do for you? Some people really hate magpies because they are very territorial and very protective of their nests when they're in nesting season. So, and they remember faces. This is something that's very curious. A lot of people don't know. Oh, thanks, Sybil. They remember faces. So they live in a particular area. They remember what you look like. And if you've ever been aggressive to them when they're swooping you, let's say you're on your bike riding through their territory and they swoop you, if you try and retaliate, they will remember you and they will always swoop you. I've only ever been swooped by a magpie once, and it was while I was on my bike riding through a park. And I got this whack on my helmet, on my bike helmet. Now, if that's not a case for wearing a bike helmet, as opposed to going bareheaded, I don't know what is. I think that's the best justification ever. Right, so this will be our last view of the beach over to the north, the surf over to the north, south. Sorry, that's south. Getting myself all mixed up this morning. Now we're heading over to the north side. And this is what they call Fisherman's Beach. So we'll go a little bit beyond this little building here, down onto the sand, and then walk back up towards this building, and you'll be able to see there's quite a nice little postcard opportunity with boats sort of hull up, resting against the bank. And these are Norfolk Island pines. Let me see if I can get a good shot with both of them in view before I step back. So they're endemic to Norfolk Island, and you'll see them all along the Sydney coast, along all the beaches. They've been planted because they're great. They make great beach trees. They really add to the look of the place. For anyone who's not aware, we drive on the left-hand side here. There's no traffic coming towards me at the moment. I'm walking in the middle of the street, so the car is going to come towards me. I'm walking towards oncoming traffic if it was to come this way. Hi, Adrian. You've just joined us. We're almost at the finish of this tour, unfortunately, but I've got one last beach to show you, and this is Fisherman's Beach. Curiously, I don't know the reason, there is an Australian flag out there on a pole. It looks like it's wrapped around the pole, so you can't really see it at the moment. I'm going to go down onto the beach and head towards the headland slightly, just so that you've got a nice postcard of, I think that makes a really nice postcard up there. So we'll go down there. Let me just turn this way for you, slowly. And I'll let you take a postcard of this information board, which tells you a little bit about the aquatic reserve. In case you want more information, you can take a postcard and zoom in on it later at your own leisure. What it's talking about there, the 230 million years of history, there was actually a jawbone of a prehistoric creature found out on the rock platform. That was this part, this one here. And apparently it's the only one of its kind that's ever been found. So there we go. That's that. Now we'll just go down these steps. Try not to slip. Let me point in the direction of the headland while I do so. And if the flag unfurls while we're walking, you might get a shot of it as well. Yeah, so we don't know why that's there. It's been permanently fixed to that spot. So the headlands are a little bit more visible up to the north now as well. Thank you, Sybil. Oh, Yvette, I'm so happy. That's great. If you're in the Hago Voyages group, would you mind posting some of them? I'd love to see them. I'm just going to get you a little bit closer. I think this makes a lovely shot. There we go. All right, so we're at 52 minutes. I think I allowed an hour for this tour, but I'm pretty well done. I'm sorry, I apologise. I was kind of scooting along up the top of the headland while it was raining. Let's have one last pan across Fisherman's Beach. And if there's any pelicans up there, we'll head towards them and have a look at them as well. They're sometimes at the end of the boat ramp. So let's walk up here. In fact, I'll walk up to the boat ramp and I'll sign off there. So I hope you've enjoyed the tour. This is as much for me as it is for you. As in, I get out, I get some exercise, I get some fresh air, and I get your company, which has been lovely. Thanks, Betsy. So I'm pretty sure that's a rather nice restaurant that we're heading towards over there. Oh, the sand's a bit tricky to walk on at the moment. It's so soft. I'm sort of sinking in with one foot and the other one's holding firm. I feel like I've got a limp. So just about this spot here the other day, I saw a cormorant drying its wings. Thanks, Louise. I'm happy to oblige. Oh, gosh, this is hard work. No pelicans. They look like more cockatoos over there on the grass. So no pelicans today. I think they know. They're probably lurking around, having a rest somewhere, and then someone pulls in with their boat and they swoop in. Thanks, Shirley. It's very kind of you. Here's a crow. I don't know if he's telling me to go away. He's feeding on something. He's probably saying, it's mine, it's mine. Yeah, that's okay, mate. I wasn't going to... It's a fish. He's got a fish there. Good morning, seagulls. Okay, this looks like a good spot to say goodbye to everyone. So we're standing on the boat ramp. All right, how was that? Did you enjoy it? Thank you for being with me and for joining me this morning. And if you're a first timer with me, consider following so you get notifications when I post new tours. There's a share button up on the top right-hand side of your screen. So if you'd like to share with some of your friends, please do. Thanks, Shirley. After tomorrow I'm doing a tour in Manly, walking along the beach from Queenscliff to Shelley Beach, which is a lovely walk. And then after that, I'll be back in the Blue Mountains. And I haven't posted any tours yet because I can see ahead a week of rain. And I just don't like doing tours in the Blue Mountains in the rain. So holding out for a fine day. But if you're following me, you will get notifications. Thanks, Benita. Thanks, Yvette. And thanks, Dawn. Alrighty, I'm going to say goodbye now. And thank you so much again for joining me. Bye for now.